Hello everyone, welcome to today's news chatter. Before getting into the topics of the day, let me discuss with you something which is important for the prelims examination. Parakram Divas. Parakram Divas is celebrated on 23rd of January every year to mark the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. About Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, certain points are important to be remembered for the UPSC examination. Subhash Chandra Bose was an Indian civil servant, but he threw away his service because he did not want to serve the British government. He joined the Indian National Congress. He was the president of Indian National Congress twice, one in 1938 in Haripuri session and then in 1939 in Tripuri session. During his second term, because his views and opinions were not accepted by Mahatma Gandhi and other prominent leaders of the Congress, he had to come out of Congress and start his own forward bloc. Later, he left India and he wanted to get support from Germany and Japan and other Axis powers, and he wanted to wage a war against the British. He established the provincial Indian government in Singapore, which was under the control of Japan at that time. He was the first person to call Mahatma Gandhi as the father of Indian nation. Apart from this, another important point you need to know is he was working as the editor of an important newspaper before he left India. The name of the newspaper was Forward. It was established by Chittaranjan Das. So these are the basic points which you need to know from prelims examination point of view. You may get a question out of it because this year it has been discussed a lot. Other than this, let's start with the topics of the day. Before getting into topics, let us have a look at the prelims practice question. With reference to the collegium system in India, collegium is a system to select the judges of Supreme Court as well as High Courts. Consider the following statements. 3 statements are provided and then they are asking which among the above are correct. So let us look at the statements. It deals only with the appointment of High Court and Supreme Court judges. Of course, it is correct. There is no mention of the collegium in the Constitution of India, which is actually correct. Collegium is not mentioned in the Constitution. It is an invention of the judiciary. It is an invention of the Supreme Court of India. The recommendation of the collegium are always advisory in nature. It is not always advisory in nature. It is binding on the president because the president can reject the name and it can send back the name to the collegium. But when the collegium recommends the same name again, then it has to be considered by the president. There is no other way. So it is not advisory, it is binding. So there is no mention of collegium is the correct option. It deals with the appointment of High Court and Supreme Court judges is correct. Let's go to the next questions, the topics of the day. Today, especially, there is one very important topic which you should be focusing. All India Survey of Higher Education 2021-2022. The points given here are very important for mains examination. Education is a very important topic in GS1 and GS2 also. So you need to use these points very clearly in your answers. All India Survey on Higher Education. We are focusing more on higher education. The government is trying to improve the standards of higher education and enrollment of higher education also. This survey specifically talks about enrollment in higher education. So here, what are the findings? The total enrollment in higher education actually increased to nearly 4.33 crore in 2021-22 from 4.14 crore. Total enrollment has increased. Female enrollment in science stream has started to outnumber male enrollment. So this point is very important. This point is extremely important because Prime Minister Narendra Modi said this last year that in India, the trend is totally different from Western countries because in Western countries, female participation in science stream is very less, but in India, the participation of female in science stream is actually high. So this point is very important. Female enrollment totally also has increased. Enrollment of SC and STs have increased. The entire survey is taken by Ministry of Education. So these points are very important. Take a note of it, make use of it in your answers. In the recent times, there has been a news that Kashmir in the winters are without snowfall. This year specifically, Kashmir went to a very difficult phase in their tourist history because there was no snowfall in Kashmir. So what are all the major reasons for lack of snowfall in Kashmir, especially in the recent times? One of the major reason is jet stream, then El Nino event, and then the failure of western disturbances. So three important factors are there. One, failure of western disturbances, second, El Nino condition, and then absence of jet stream. So what are all these conditions? What is western disturbance? Western disturbance are cyclonic wind that come from the Mediterranean part of the continent of the earth towards the Indian subcontinent, especially the northern part. So they carry a lot of moisture along with it, and when it enters Kashmir, it becomes snow. So for snowfall to happen, you need adequate moisture. It is the moisture which becomes snow, which gets converted into snow and fall. So when enough amount of moisture is not there because western disturbance itself is not happening, then it means snowfall is not there. El Nino condition will increase the rainfall in Peruvian coast and decrease the rainfall in India and the surrounding region. So there is lack of moisture here. Again, it also results in less number of snowfall, less amount of snowfall. Jet stream is the one which carries the western disturbance towards India. When jet stream is not happening properly, when jet stream is failing, or when jet stream is moving northern to the northern part of Indian subcontinent, then it will result in serious problems. So these are all the major issue. Usually 5 to 7 western disturbance impact northwest India during December month to January month. But this year nothing has happened. So in jet stream, lack of moisture means so far they have been contributing to the subsidence of cold air, thereby enhancing the cold over North India. At present, too much of cold and smog and fog is there in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar and Delhi and surrounding region because of lack of jet stream and western disturbance. If jet stream and western disturbances were happening properly, the cold fog conditions will not happen because regular movement of air will take all these all the fog particles and smog particles forward. So it will result in further rainfall or snowfall in Kashmir. Such things might happen, but at present, none of this is happening. And one of the major reason is global warming. Minority educational institution. The status of minority educational institution has been in news because of Aligarh Muslim University. So what are the constitutional point of view here? Article 30, Clause 1. Article 30, Clause 1 empowers religious and linguistic minorities with the fundamental right to establish their own educational institution and administer their own educational institution. The clause 2 of Article 30 ensures that state should maintain equality in treatment when they are providing grants to any educational institution. When the state is providing grant to an educational institution, it should be treating even a minority educational institution equal to any other educational institution. What are the exemptions enjoyed by the minority educational institution? If an educational institution is a minority educational institution, they can reserve up to 50 percentage of the seat for students from their own community. A very important judgment which you should be remembering in this perspective is TMA Pi Foundation 2002. In this, the Supreme Court of India said that minority is to be determined by the concerned state's demography, not by the nation's demography. If there is a state in which 90 percentage of population is Muslim population and 10 percentage is Hindu population, then in that particular state Hindus are in minority, not Muslims. So TMA Pi Foundation case is very important when it comes to minority status. Aligarh Muslim University regularly discussed in news, so we need to have a basic idea about it. So who started it? It was started as Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan in 1875. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was of the opinion that Muslims should get educated in the Western methods also. He wanted Muslims to be very modern, and he wanted Muslims to be well developed when it comes to education, and he wanted them to be employed in a very good professional way. So that is the reason he started this Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College. Later, what happened? The government passed an act called as the Aligarh Muslim University Act in 1920. And with this act, it incorporated the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College and the Muslim University Association, and they called it as Aligarh Muslim University. So this is the problem. The problem is because a act was passed, and based on that act, this university was incorporated. The government and the Supreme Court also have told in S. Aziz Basha versus Union of India that the Aligarh Muslim University was neither established nor administered by the Muslim minority because it was incorporated by the Aligarh Muslim University Act of 1920. Government formed an act, government passed an act and incorporated it. So when an university is established by a statute of the government, you cannot call it as a minority educational institution, is what the Supreme Court told. Later, what happened? It created a lot of problem, a lot of ruckus. So in 1981, the government came up with an amendment to the AMU Act, in which it told that we are ensuring minority status to the Aligarh Muslim University. However, again in 2005, Naresh Agarwal versus Union of India case, the Supreme Court clearly told that the 1981 amendment which the government did was ultra vires. Ultra vires means the government did not have enough power to do this. It was not in the hand of the government to provide minority status to this university because according to the law, according to the statute, it cannot be provided minority status. So at present, again, the case is going on, and the government is telling that we cannot give minority status to Aligarh Muslim University. The case is sub judice, so we cannot come to a conclusion about it. But this is the entire history of it. The main question of the day: independent functioning of non-governmental organization is important for the development of the nation. Yes. However, the internal security threats posed by certain NGOs has to be taken care of. Comment. So this particular question is because recently there was a news that several NGOs license have been revoked from FCRA, that is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, because their administration was not according to the FCRA regulation. So it is because of that this particular question is asked. You can write answer to this question. Mains pointers. Fall of inequality in India, very important for prelims examination. What is Gini coefficient? Gini coefficient is a very important topic from economy point of view. Gini coefficient is a standard measure of inequality. So you might have studied it in economy. It will be a graph between the percentage of population and then the total amount of revenue, the total income and percentage of population. So when it is of complete equality, if the income of the people and the population are almost equal, that means everyone getting equal amount of income, then it will be of perfect equality. That is, the range will be zero. So the measure, the coefficient will be zero. Then it means that it is of perfect equality. If it is 1, it indicates perfect inequality. Study this topic. Unless you study this, you won't be able to understand. So it is a graph between the percentage of population and then the amount of income that is gained by the people. So a curve will be drawn. If it is of perfect equality, which cannot happen in any country, there will be no curve. It will be a straight line. But in India, there is a curve. So we take the area of the curve and then we divide it with the total area of the triangle and then we come to the coefficient. Those are the technical things. You don't have to get involved in it in this session. You can study that in your economy book. But recently, we have found that the Gini coefficient of India has fallen. That is more important. It has fallen from 0.472 in 2014 to 0.402. So it is a very big fall in such a small time. That means people are getting a good amount of income, and inequality in India has been reducing. Almost 15 percentage of decline has happened. So this particular point is very important for your mains examination, which you can use in your answer. From prelims point of view, try to learn what is Gini coefficient, what is the meaning of it. You may get a question in prelims based on this. So that will be all for today. All the best. Study well. Let's meet tomorrow.